And you need a little. I've never told that to anybody.
But you just did live on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hi, Caroline. Let's call her Caroline Barry. Welcome to Going the Distance podcast, Rocky series. Host Ryan and guest Brad Upton.
Nice to be here.
It is. And we might as well turn on this mic because I didn't know that we're recording yet, Ryan.
Well, so what we do, Brad, is we put this out live. We have a few fans that like to see how the cookie is cut, how the sausage is packed, and then the professional editing, thus like the story that Ruben just shared, that will be edited out of the actual podcast release. But we put this out there because some people like to actually watch these things, believe it or not. They rather watch and then instead of listen.
And what is anything off the limits that we can say?
No, it's YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So feel free to say and do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think YouTube, they did get rid of Die PewDie.
What's that?
He's like the biggest YouTuber star. There's like 15 million a year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because he had a couple of anti-Jew jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Semitic.
Anti-Semitic, yeah. Yeah. Being part Jewish, I find that very offensive.
Oh, I had no idea that we were that way. We're brothers. So
we're brothers, yes.
Okay,
so at 0.10 something %.
But
without it, I would not exist.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm part Jewish.
You know what I found out this summer? My great grandfather, who was always known as the Old Cherokee, we thought was half Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
That was the family lore,
Mm-hmm.
and was in fact born a mulatto slave. So I'm 1/16.
Wow.
Where my niggas at?
So now you can say that.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, so I want to say that on stage one of these nights and say, what percent does it cut off? If you never knew until you were almost 60.
Oh, wow.
Can you?
Well, I had a friend from Compton who was black, and I didn't know about the whole N-word thing. And so for him, I'm not 1/16, so I can't pull it off as well as you, Brad. But I would say that to him, not thinking that there was anything offensive.
That's very Canadian.
And then
so Canadian.
And somebody's like, I've never seen anybody say that to a black person before. I'm like, huh? I thought it was like a term of endearment.
Oh.
But it turns out some people find it
If
offensive.
you're black, it is.
Right.
From you, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Well, we should mention where we are. Right now, we're inside of what's called Heckler's. Is that right?
I think so.
Heckler's?
Well, Heckler's Bar and Grill.
Okay.
This room is called the Ratfish. This is more open mic night type of things. Heckler's is
Got our open mics right here.
yeah, they're in the open. Heckler's last night Brad performed. Tonight Brad Upton is performing, and tomorrow night Brad Upton is also performing. I met Brad last year because I was looking for a comedian for my other podcast, Always Hungry. Always Hungry podcast?
That's what it's called.
Yeah, Always Hungry spot. Yeah. Anyways, and so I thought humor, something, is something good for health. And talked to Brad. He was great. I added him on Facebook. You must get some people add you on Facebook that you don't even know.
Oh, lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
But here's a little side. You are my Facebook best friend. I like your posts. Like you kill on Facebook.
Well, I've had lots of people add me as a friend, and then they tell me they don't like my politics. And then I'm like, well, then unfriend me. Or they start criticizing me, and I'm like, you wanted to be my friend. And now you're going to tell me what an ass I am? Hey, there's that unfriend button over there. Go ahead.
I'm not really sure what my politics really are. There's different political parties.
Right.
There needs to be, in my opinion, for democracy to work. If there's just one party, then that's
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Then
so
it's China.
Yeah, it's China. Yeah. So but I do think I side more with you. Alt-right wing?
Left wing.
Oh, left. I
wing,
get my lefts and rights mixed up sometimes.
Talk about offensive.
Yeah.
Man.
Brad's
You
like,
almost called me the N-word right there.
So-and-so's an idiot. You're an idiot. Anyways,
Yeah. Now I am. I'm just, ever since the election, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I'm taking down as many people and blowing it up. I don't care.
Now, remind us where you're from.
Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're American, and so you're allowed to really have an opinion, as you should, about your own president, President Trump.
Right.
Are you shy about sharing your opinion?
I don't online on Facebook, but I don't do it in my act.
No,
but online, yeah.
Really, you don't do it on your act because that's almost kind of the playground almost for comedians nowadays.
It's just so polarizing. I did some stuff last night because I'm in Canada, but if I'm at home, I don't think I'd do it.
Okay.
Just because it's so polarizing, it just angers people. Nobody finds any funny anymore.
Yeah. Well,
last night I just said I was hoping for a blood clot. That's what I was really hoping for right now. For the CIA to do its job and do what it has to do to fix this. I don't care what it is, just do your job.
Well, like Kim Jong-un's brother.
Right.
Yeah, just take care of it.
Yeah,
with spray. Spray him in the face. Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. Didn't he kill his brother or his uncle?
His half brother.
Kim Jong-un. Well, Kim Jong-un's brother, half brother, just got killed a couple days ago.
A few days ago.
Like in the airport.
Some lady walked up with an aerosol can and sprayed something in his face.
Her shirt said LOL on it.
Did it?
Yes, which makes it just crazy.
Shouldn't it say rah rah rah?
Yeah. Anyway, so last time that you were here, we met in this dimly lit room. I had a great interview. I went home, did whatever, had supper, saw you perform. Easily one of the best performances I've ever seen of a comedian.
You need to get out more often.
I do. I don't disagree. And so, yeah, anyways, you did a great job. Added you as a friend. Oh, I got to tell you what happened. So, I go out. I come back. I came solo. I didn't have anybody to come with. So I'm just sitting at the back of the bar, and I see a guy come in who's about your age. Okay. No glasses. And he gives me a look, and I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, good. And he sits down. And I think it's you. And I said, you look really different without your glasses. And he's like, yeah, I just got contacts in. And I'm like, yeah, just something about it. Just you almost look younger. And he's like, oh, thanks. And I thought that you just had some stage fright nerves, And I said, so you're performing tonight? You're looking for the performance? He's like, yeah, looking forward to performing. I'm like, talking. And I said, hey, next time you're in town, if you want, I'll show you around. You're stuck here, here.
Right.
You don't have a car. He's like, yeah. I'll show you around, show you a couple things if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. And I was like, I gotta go, get ready or whatever. And so he goes, gets ready. And then I see you come in moments later with your glasses, wearing a suit. And I'm like, how did he get changed so fast? And then I see the other guy that I was talking to come in. He was like your opening act.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Oh, it was Harry Duke.
Yeah.
It was Harry Duke. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, and so I see him perform, and I'm like, oh, that's not Brad.
So we are BFFs. So recognize me.
So this guy just said yes to a stranger.
Right.
Like, yeah, you show me around. That'd be great. Now, he probably was like, this is really weird. I'll just say yes and wait for you to go. But I think he was saying yes for real. Anyways, it was an embarrassing moment for me.
Yeah.
As it should be. There's nothing worse than getting somebody wrong. We think you know them. In fact, this happened to me just the other day. There's a neighbor on my street who has the same car as my literal next door neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped my car to talk to another neighbor on the side of the road to say chit chat real quick. And this car came behind me, and I thought it was my next door neighbor / friend. And so I said, oh, I better go to the friend I was talking to on the side of the road. And then I decided to kind of like go slow and break a little bit. Yeah. I'm having fun with my neighbor. I'm having fun with my next door neighbor friend. Ha ha. And then I realized it was a person 7 houses down. And I was like, I really should just go to their house and apologize, because I was like tapping my brake and like I'm going slow, and they're like, what are you doing?
The car going, this guy's an idiot.
So mistaken identity is very common.
But you did it by car, I did it by face. True. So, well, in my defense, I think Harry Dupe is also part black, and everybody that's part black kind of looks the same to me.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that where you're going with that now?
Terrible. All right. Well, Ruben, go ahead.
I want to do more of an introduction of Brad, because we mentioned Brad's a comedian.
Yes.
And I was looking on your IMDb page.
Oh, right.
And one thing that stood out to me that I didn't see before was, I want to see if this is accurate or not. You two, Rattle and Hum?
No, it's some other guy.
I was gonna ask
Again, it's like a roadie or something, right?
Okay.
Isn't that who that is?
I don't know.
It was crew, some sort of crew.
Yeah.
Well, what a
I've seen that on there too. I don't know. It's not me.
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
well, there goes our U2 questions.
Yeah, I'm seeing you two this summer or the spring.
Oh, you were looking for tickets or something?
Oh, yeah. If you could, yeah.
No, I've seen that on there too, and it's the only thing on my IMDb that I went. That ain't me. I don't know who that is.
But you have no problem keeping it on.
Well, I don't know. Can I take it off of there?
I don't know.
I'm not sure how it works.
I never look at it.
I'm on there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah,
you're on for the Ruben Show.
Yeah,
which we often plug.
You just did. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
I have a community television show.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's called the Ruben Show.
And that's on IMDb?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. They'll put anything on that IMDb.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Cable access show.
I haven't checked to see if it's been updated. All right. Anyways, so you got your start in comedy.
Comedy Underground, September 4th, 1984.
Okay.
30, what was that? 33, 32,
Yep.
32 and a half years?
Yeah.
33 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teachers, you thought you were funny. And because you were a teacher before.
Yeah.
So
You should have prefaced that. Yes.
well, I think those that are in tune would have picked up.
Well,
that he was a
I
teacher.
missed it. So I'm not in tune. I missed it.
Well, I'll let Brad tell his own story.
Okay, yeah, please.
No, I taught fourth graders. I taught 10-year-olds for 7 years. So, and I've been wanting to try stand-up. So finally, I just went, I got to do it. I'm not getting any younger. Signed up for an open mic. And then the next 2 years, the first time I got on stage, it went great. And then for the next 2 years, then all of a sudden I was into it. You know what I mean? But I was 200 miles away from the nearest open mic. But I was doing as much as I could. And 2 years later, quit teaching. June of 86. Been doing it ever since. So 31 years now since I quit teaching.
Crazy. So last time you were here, you were 59.
Yeah.
Approaching 60, obviously.
Got to bring that up.
You think you look great.
All right.
He looks fantastic.
That's what you say now when you're old to an old guy. Yeah, you look good for your age.
Well, when my mom turned 60, I said you look really great for your age. But if you're like 25, you look horrible.
Yeah, it's
No,
true.
that's right. I'm not a good-looking 25.
No, you look
You
terrible.
look-
Terrible.
Oh, man.
You're a terrible looking 25-year-old, but you're a great looking 60-year-old.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good
It's
for
my
you.
new
Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm actually just kind of curious how you go from. See, I'm not a risk taker, so I would assume that to be a comedian full time is a little bit of a risk taker because you're saying I've got a job, paychecks are coming in,
Right.
but I'm gonna stop and just.
Well, it didn't feel like a big risk at the time. My dad was all for it. He said, go for it, try it. And my mom was like, I don't know. You sure? Those are good benefits. I don't know. That's a pretty good job. But I always knew. And the plan all along when I quit was, if this doesn't work out, I can go back and teach. I mean, they'll hire me immediately because I'm a male that teaches elementary school and I coach sports. So, to a school district, I could get a job right now if I wanted to.
You can still fall back on it.
I could still fall back on it after
Wow.
31 years. If
Wow.
it drops out, I could. Although now I'd be a really bad teacher because.
Or you can step up for Betsy DeVos.
Yeah,
How do you say her
that's
name?
right. I'd do a better job than her. I'll guarantee.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I stuck on Facebook a few weeks ago.
Yes,
The fact
yes.
that I'd been in a classroom 7 years made me more qualified than her, which is true.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment, that cabinet. Is it you guys call it cabinet?
Yeah, cabinet.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. They should get a different cabinet
I
maker.
think clusterfuck is the best
Yeah,
word right
the-
now. I think that's probably the
The
best word.
papers have said all but that word in their headlines. It's in disarray, is what they call it.
Disarray. Yes.
Fine oil machine, according to him yesterday. Did you see that?
That press conference
Yeah.
was
Surreal.
I actually, I have a hard here. I get uncomfortable, and this is probably goes back to your going on stage. What I said earlier, behind this camera is the stage. It's a small little stage for those who can't see it. Obviously, everyone but us can see it. It makes me nervous just looking at that stage because you have people in front of you who are judging
Mhm.
everything you're saying and doing. And we've all been to a play or a performance when whatever it is the person's doing isn't going off the way it should. And then as an audience member, I'm one of those people that I take that uncomfortableness that they should be feeling.
Oh yeah,
And
no, you're not the only one.
Yeah. And so I see Trump. So what I have a hard time with Trump when he gives his press conference, and I say to myself, this is the president of the United States of America. and he speaks, and when he speaks to people, the press, I'm like, I can't watch it. It's so uncomfortable to see a man speak.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And I'm not even trying to be funny or insulting or even say I agree or disagree with any of it. It's just the idea that his performance as a president is so embarrassing as a leader.
No, and he has no people skills whatsoever. Just none. Doesn't know how to talk. He's always talked down to everybody in his entire life. That's all he's ever done. Yeah. Is talk down to people.
Well, according to him, he has no like real friends.
Oh, I can believe that. You can tell he doesn't have any real friends.
Yeah.
Who would want to hang out with that guy?
You know, years ago, I had a boss, and when I was working outside of Vancouver, who was, I didn't know this when I got hired, but he was a Hell's Angel. And all of his friends and his employees were his friends.
Right.
And so I forget what happened, but I made a mistake with something, and I just made a joke about it. And he just kind of looked at me like I was from outer space. And he's like, huh? I'm like, it's a joke, Mike. And he's like, well, I'm just joking. He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's weird. And then other experiences with his friends / employees. And I'm like, oh, everybody he's the man.
Right.
Wherever he goes, he's the man. Everybody says yes because they don't want to get in trouble, fired, or beat up, or something worse. And so he's
just immune to any kind of.
He was just like a property nightclub owner.
Right.
So you can imagine the stakes are much higher for Donald Trump and his entourage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Surrounded by yes men, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, how do you deal with, I guess the question a lot of people have is, you probably have had an off night. How do you?
Never.
Never. Wow.
No, actually.
Just don't do it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm coming tonight.
All right.
How do you make that work for you again? How does it feel?
Well, I know what you're just describing. When the audience is watching a performer and it's not going very well, and they get uptight, and then they sense, they just get uncomfortable. The audience gets uncomfortable because they're like, "Wow, this really isn't going well." And then as soon as they sense that the comic understands it too, then it's an ugly cesspool and it's down. They just feed each other.
Right.
And I've told a lot of, and it's a thing that takes a long time to learn. And I've told a lot of comics this: if you believe in your material, and even now, if I get on a corporate date or a cruise ship with a bunch of rich people or something, and I start off and they're kind of dead. They're really dead. The key is, because I know the material's good. I know it's funny. It works every night.
Right.
So I know the material's good. And the key is not to panic and just keep performing like this is the best show you've ever had, because the audience is sitting there like this and they're like, oh, this isn't going very well, but he seems to be having a good time. He seems comfortable. You know what I mean? And then they relax, and then they'll giggle, and then they'll snicker, and then they'll ha-ha, but it might take 10 minutes to where they all relax because the material's good, and it takes them. But that's the key, is to just keep selling it like this is the best audience you've ever had.
Wow.
But when you're starting out and you don't get that feedback right away, your tendency is like, oh, God, and then the audience knows you're uncomfortable and it's ugly.
Yeah.
Ruben, you had some time on stage. Did you experience this?
Yeah, well, my first time was kind of funny. I didn't really prepare. I just told a good story of a date gone bad, and it's always been a good party story. So I just went with that. And then the second time I had something prepared. And then due to life events, I just kind of forgot what I had prepared. And I just I didn't even forget what I said. But I was like, I just found out that I am in remission from cancer. So
that's always a crowd.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, see you later.
Leave on a high note.
Yeah, so I was co-hosting a night for the Ruben Show. We're doing it here. And so there was a host who knows the stuff, and so he was able to pick up my slack. And I'm like, you got the rest of the night. He's like, oh, okay, all right. So, but I'm itching to do it again.
Yeah, that's my next question. You gonna go back?
Yeah. I really want to. My goal is, it's not really, it's a dream goal. Next time that you come, I'll open for you.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
There's an open mic down the street here Sunday night.
Well, there's also one here.
Yeah, on Sunday night.
No, not Sunday night.
Last night. It was here last night.
Last night. Yeah,
Did you watch it?
No.
Are you gonna be here Sunday night?
No.
Oh,
I'll be home. But I just saw it when I walked down the street here. The next hotel down's got a
interesting.
Open
Yeah,
mic
there's lots of open mics.
Yeah.
Nights. Yeah. So you went from because we're gonna get into Rocky soon for those that might be interested. But
yeah, this will be a nice transition.
I do have one transition. It goes off your story.
Yeah.
Talking about, it's corny, but you remember Rocky IV, when the Russians hated Rocky when he entered the ring, and his focus was, I'm a good boxer. I have a mission. I'm not here for the crowd, so to speak. I know what I have to present. And the crowd got one over. Imagine if he went in there afraid of the crowd, afraid of his performance. They're not cheering my name. He still gave it his all. And by the end of the performance, as we know, I know it's for Hollywood, but the crowd was cheering for Rocky. They were cheering him on because he saw the character that he had and what he presented. His performance as a boxer. It's the same idea. Like, yeah, don't get sucked into the crowd. If you allow the crowd to get in his head before he even got out there and performed, he would have already been defeated.
Well, it's like in the States more probably than here, but it's like a black comic in front of a white audience in the States, where the white audience really wants to like the black comic and they really want him to do well, and they give him a lot of credit. Whereas if you're a white comic in front of a black audience, they kind of want to see you suck. You know what I mean? And they'll sit there with their arms crossed, and you better earn them over.
Right.
That's the difference. But once you earn them over, they're the best audience in the world.
That's awesome.
Is that what you've heard?
Yeah. I've done several clubs where the audience is predominantly black, and you got to just come out and knock them over the head right away and let them know that you're not afraid of them and you're not going to take any shit, and they love you. They love you after that. Because they're like, this guy stood up to us.
Yeah, well, sure.
Is there any black audiences in Canada? Maybe Toronto?
Yeah, Ontario has the highest.
Does it?
Yeah. The highest population.
Okay.
For that.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. I'll work my way up.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. I don't think going over the prairies will help me. I'll work my way up. But
no, nothing in the prairie is going to get you ready for a black audience.
Okay, so my transition though was, first of all, do you even like the Rocky movies?
You know what? I know. I mean, I watched the first one several times, and then I'm sure I've seen all of them when they came out, but I don't remember.
Okay, so why did you see the first one several times?
Well, it was the picture of the year, and it was so inspirational. I mean, and I was 20 years old or whatever, so it's right in my wheelhouse at the time. You know what I mean? I loved it.
Okay. All right. Just
and then the music and running up the stairs, and you're ready to train, man.
Yeah.
You're ready to work out.
And you're track and field coach.
At the time, I was a track and field athlete at the time. So man, that thing got you ready to work out and train like a demon when you watch that.
But you couldn't listen to the music while you trained.
No, but get you fired up.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You didn't want those big 70s headphones on while you were working out.
No. Have you run up the steps?
Oh yeah, I ran millions of steps, tens of thousands.
No.
Oh, in Philadelphia.
Steps.
Oh no, I have not.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you run?
Okay, Ryan.
Crush your shin as you put the toe halfway up.
I know. I ran up.
No, it's a little brother jab.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it was at the speed of Stallone.
And you did
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Was it sunrise?
Midday.
Oh, okay.
Midday.
I'll bet those people that live there just go, oh God, here's another one.
I think so. I've heard it's a bit of both, but people that go there don't care.
I don't care.
No.
If you don't
care.
It's been 40 years since that movie came out, right? No, 41 years.
41 years.
Yeah, we're the first. Yeah, 41st year now.
But people that go there will see. You can go there any time of day, probably any night, and you'll see somebody's going to run out those stairs.
Yeah, sure.
And who wants to be the guy that says, "Stop!
Yeah,
it's enough. No more running up the stairs." So it's cool that movies provide such a really harmless activity that just inspires people to be happy. Don't stop. Enough happiness. No more happy.
I've been through that market, where they have when he runs through the market.
Yeah.
I've been through there before.
Guy tosses in the apple.
Yeah, I've walked through there before.
Nice. Did anybody toss you an apple?
Yeah, they toss you an apple.
I guess you're nobody.
They tossed him an apple. Was it Rocky 2 that the apple was tossed, or Rocky 1?
No, the first Rocky an apple was tossed.
Yeah,
but that was just improv. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
Somebody just
because they didn't know like when they were filming Rocky 1. That's right. It was guerrilla style. They didn't know.
Back of a van, doors open.
Nobody knew this was Stallone. Nobody knew.
Right.
So they just saw a van, filming this
with no permit or nothing like that.
Nothing. Just did it and left.
Right.
Because there's no cell phone cameras. Nobody could record it happening. So it's like it happened. It's done, and deal with it. But this guy tossed him fruit, Stallone fruit. As he's jogging, he caught it, and so you can't write this stuff.
That's cool.
The natural part of it is really cool. The organic.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an organic apple.
It might not. Well,
back then it could have just been.
Well, back in the 70s, it wasn't organic apples. They were just apples.
That's true.
That's right.
Genetic modifying happened later.
So I wanted to do some name dropping because through your career, you've worked with and you still work with Johnny Mathis.
Correct.
So
you're too young to know who that is.
I know the name. I know Johnny, who he is.
Johnny Mathis.
It's Johnny Mathis and the Somebodies, right?
No, just Johnny Mathis.
All right, then I don't know. I'm illiterate.
Yeah.
Tell me.
He sold over 100 million albums.
I thought that's what I mean. I thought he was a part of a group. I thought he was music.
He's a solo act.
I'm pretty sure
always been a solo act.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a couple of duets with a couple female singers.
You say we're too young. What's the average audience member age?
At a Mathis concert?
Yes.
80?
Depends.
I don't know. It depends. I don't know. They're old, man. They're old.
Yeah. It's amazing that there's that many old people going to concerts.
They come out and it's like they're teens again, though. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the music of their teens and 20s.
Yeah.
And that guy's still singing it, and they come out. It'd be like you and I just going to see are you going to watch Rocky when you're 80
absolutely.
years old,
yeah,
and you're going to remember what it was like when you first watched it?
Stallone will be 110.
Right.
So how many shows does Mathis do a year?
He does about 50 probably.
And you're always the...
No, there's myself and one other comedian, Gary Mildeer. We split the dates.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of jokes do you do for
old people?
A geriatric type crowd?
I have a big chunk of stuff about how stupid 20-somethings are, which kills with these people. And then I have a big chunk of material about being married for a long time.
Okay.
Which is right in their wheelhouse. And I only do 25 minutes. So
death jokes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
About old people, you mean?
Yeah, the idea of dying, the end of your life type thing.
I do a thing about I was in the Hallmark store the other day looking at birthday cards, and they have birthday cards now for people turning 100. I go, how many of those do you think they sell in a week? And if you have to buy a card for somebody's turning 100, put that off to the last minute.
There you go.
And I do that joke sometimes.
Yeah, I like it. I
like it.
Speaking of humor, I wanted, before I forgot, when we heard that you were agreed to do this with me and Ruben, I just heard on Joe Rogan and Bill Burr. Bill Burr was a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about as comedians when they're just going about their life, talking to other people, how as a comedian they're basically dissecting every conversation because and when people try to be funny, like it's not funny, and how a comedian has to kind of like deal with somebody not being funny. Like, for example, I was nervous about you being here in some ways because me and Ruben, we think we crack wise and tell jokes, but it's like, and I've got someone who's been doing this for 30 odd years as a profession. Like, it's a true profession to take dialogue, to intertwine it, to make it work. It's we all know that comedians have to write. You have to practice and trial it and see how it works. So I'm just nervous. Just for the record, every joke I'm telling, I'm looking to see, was that funny?
We're actually probably bigger comedy nerds than we are Rocky nerds.
Yeah, in many ways. Yeah, I love comedy. I love comedians. I love funny things, and so
I like funny comedians.
Well, it is one of the. You got to remember that people are like you and they're fans and they just enjoyed the show, but it's really annoying because they always want to come up right after the show and then try and make you laugh. That's that's their thing, is they want to make you laugh on the way out. They want to tell you a joke and they want to say something funny to you. And you have to, and I get it. You just entertained them for an hour. You know what I mean? And they like the show and they like you. And now they're going to come up and try and do it to you. But it's like, I tell people these lines right here are from going. But people do it all the time, and other comedians have made jokes about it. Nobody else. You don't go up to a doctor after surgery and go, "Hey, that was great. You did a nice job on my knee. Let me show you what I know." And then cut into his knee for a minute. Nobody does that in any other profession. I don't think.
In my job, I get suggestions all the time.
Yeah, which is
I have an indoor play center for children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's funny. Ruben looks at mothers and babies all day.
I do. I'm the only man that they see all day long.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I actually, just side note, I went to Ruben's business today, and my kids have obviously been there many times to your facility where the kids play. But I went there without my kids so we could carpool to here. And I felt very awkward. And I had to use the washroom. So I'm like this guy walking through and I didn't come here with kids and I'm just using the washroom. I'm just going to hang out here at the front desk. And
everybody that I talked to, I said, that's my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So was like, my brother is here. He has children. Yeah.
It's like if you're in the kiddie pool and there's like with your kid and there's like some guy in there. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Whenever I'm in the kiddie pool, I'm always like arm length away from my child. This is my kid. This is why I'm in here.
Right.
Last time I was in a kiddie pool, my next door neighbor was in there with his grandkid. And it was just a weird moment. It was like, oh, hey. And I was like, oh, we're both shirtless, just wet together side by side. I was like, all right, I've seen enough of you.
We'll talk to
See you later.
Now, I was going to ask you about, I know you're not a huge Rocky fan, that's fine. But do you recall the humor? Any of Rocky's type of humor in the movies that he used or?
Yeah, let me think about that. Kind of put me on the spot, but I remember. Oh, I'm shaking that thing with my foot. Sorry.
That's okay.
Because he did make some jokes throughout there.
Well, he would use.
What was the dog's name?
Butkus.
That's
his real dog,
right?
He made the joke. Well, what Rocky would do in the movie is he used humor to break the ice with Adrian.
Right,
so
absolutely.
So he used humor as a kind of like, so he'd create a joke that every day he went to the pet shop, he'd have a new joke for Adrian. So we don't know in the movie what day this was in the line of daily jokes that he created, because I made a new joke. And the joke they start off with, we see him practicing in the mirror. So actually, Rocky in many ways was a comedian.
Yeah.
Because he practiced in front of the mirror.
Did he? I don't remember that.
Right at the beginning, what's cool as an audience, we don't know why he's doing this, which is really, to geek it out here a little bit. It's kind of cool to see that writing, that acting, that we see Stallone, the Rocky character, practicing about the turtle food. He says,
"Oh, I do remember that."
He goes, "This turtle food has more moss than flies." And then the flies get stuck in my turtle's throat, and then I got to hit it. And then he goes, "Oh, who the hell cares?" And what we see there is that he's probably created an umpteenth jokes. Nothing's getting through to Adrian, but so he's getting frustrated. Even as he's practicing the next day's joke, he's like, "Oh, who the hell cares?"
Yeah.
His life is so pathetic. And then, but he goes and tells a joke, and of course, then I hit them on the back of their back to get the fly out. What do you call that? And she's like, "I don't know." And he goes, "Shell shock." it's so shell shock. So you get it, he's trying to get to get. And she's like, doesn't laugh at the joke.
Well, to me, Stallone's an unlikely guy because, aside from you, most comedians aren't physically fit.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, they can be kind of sloppy.
There's Carrot Top.
There's a handful of guys.
Carrot Top.
There's a handful of guys that keep themselves fit, but yeah, the lifestyle of staying out late every night and drinking after the show doesn't really, and then being able to drink to the point where you don't have to get up in the morning and do anything. You know what I mean? It takes a while to.
Yeah. So you have Stallone, who's kind of funny.
Right.
He's prolific as a writer. He's written more movie scripts than the three of us combined.
I think so.
Yeah. Sure of it.
Yeah. And then be muscular and all that sort of stuff and funny, or have a sense of humor.
Well, because he's writing the humor in the script.
Yeah.
So however you want to cut it, he has to write.
He wrote the jokes.
He wrote the joke. He has to write. This is going to be, and then the humor that he uses throughout. I don't know if you saw the movie Creed, the latest one.
No, I did not.
He makes a joke, old man joke, because now he's 70, and he's training a young protege, and the protege takes a picture of Rocky's notes on how to train. And he's like, and he gives the paper back to Rocky, saying, "I got it." What do you mean you have it? It goes, it's on my phone, and now it's in the cloud. Right. And Rocky's like, "What cloud? What do you?" It's old man humor, but that's the humor. But again, Stallone's writing that kind of humor of that's that old man. What cloud is this? My paper in now,
Right.
So he's always been able to do it throughout his films, kind of add that humor, the lightheartedness. I think if you see any of his Instagram videos and stuff that he has, he's always kind of poking. I think that's his nature. I think he's very
I think that's where
self-deprecating.
We might resonate with him because
self-deprecating.
All my dad and us four brothers, we all use
most comedians do too. If you watch their act, most of them, you're the butt of the joke. Sure. A lot of times, you make yourself the butt of the joke.
I like that.
Well, recently I was at the doctor's office and I had to get something checked in my manhood, and they have like a light with a magnifying glass. I was like, "Oh, I'm glad you have a magnifying glass."
Right.
And he's like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
And then I pulled up my pants and he stopped laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He's like, oh, I'm glad I had my glass.
No, but that's how I get through life. Like, I don't want to have a conversation where there isn't the option to not make a joke. Not that you have to make a joke, but there's no option, then I don't want to be a part of it.
My kids have seen me get results from things in life by using humor. You know, like when you're in the airport and your flight got canceled and everybody's up there and they're all pissed. They all come up to that service agent and they're angry. You come up there and start making that person laugh. You walk away with your ticket right away. Boom, I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or these people, I got to get to Toronto by, and then I just go up there and say something funny about all the other assholes and then joke with them. My kids have seen me do it several times. I've told them it's just a better way to handle every situation.
It really is.
Joke your way through it. Make fun. Be lighthearted about it.
Yeah.
Don't come up here and be an asshole because that doesn't get you anything. You know what I mean? Even if I'm feeling like I'm pissed off. Yeah. I'm going to charm my way first. I'm going to try and be funny.
Yeah, I agree. I've used humor in my life to diffuse a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how funny I am in the spectrum of funny, but I've used humor to awkward situations to make them less awkward. If I find, like a checkout line, I try to engage strangers, so maybe that's my mini stand-up, or that's my mini.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way.
My mini open mic. It's just use a stranger.
Yeah, my kids, like if they get hurt,
right?
I would they fall on the floor. I'm like, oh, is the floor okay? Like,
exactly.
Because it's not really that funny, but it's not.
Yeah, you're trying to distract them.
But you try to distract, but it works. It works, and now my kids know.
I do the same thing, and I've told people too. This is the other thing about being a professional for 30 plus years. Now I'm confident to know I'm funny,
right, in
situations. So before I started doing,
you can start anytime, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But when I started doing stand up at the grocery store line, I joke with people, but part of you going, am I funny or not? I don't know. I think this is funny, and you might get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that you've done it for 30 plus years, you're confident enough. And it's the same way with delivering a joke. Like I said a minute ago, you just have the confidence to do it with more conviction. Mm-hmm. And I'm the same. I can make, the same way in the checkout line, make some jokes about something and get a big laugh.
Well, I think that's probably what's worked for Stallone, keeping on theme, I guess, is that he was a loser, a failure, failed marriage, failed acting career, writes Rocky. They don't want him to star in it. Mm-hmm. But he just kept on pushing and had that confidence that.
Well, I think Stallone too, and you guys are Rocky nerds, so I think he's really smart, even though he has that persona, this big dumb guy. But I think we know in real life that he's very intelligent.
I'm convinced that in order to play dumb really well, you have to be very smart.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. That's why you never see. Of course, I followed Stallone my whole life, so I've seen him in many interviews from way back to the Arsenio Hall days, Johnny Carson days. Well, I should have gone backwards. Johnny Carson, Arsenio Hall, then Jay Leno. I've seen him through all the years of his career, and he's always poking fun at himself, always not taking himself too seriously. And there's certain actors, I don't want to say names, but there's certain actors that either you never see on the interview circuit because without a handler, they just can't do it. Well, I'll say one thing: you never see Brad Pitt.
I know. He doesn't.
You never see Brad Pitt. No, he's a big movie star.
Yeah, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah,
but
right, when's the last time you saw him on Good Morning America or putting himself on Jay Leno? Because
you gotta have a personality.
I wonder what his personality may be like outside of the movie scripts. Mm-hmm. And so, as a fan, I admit that I'm more prone to be fanatical about Stallone because he kind of lets me in.
Right, exactly.
He lets me in a little bit, and he allows me to know that he's human too, who's got a big stroke of luck. And he says, yeah, it's hard work, but he also talks about how lucky he was.
Well, look at Tom Hanks, the most likable guy in the world. He's the most likable guy in the world, and then you get to see him on all these shows, and you go, "Oh, he's a likable guy. Yeah, he is. That's not an act. That's just he's a nice guy. He's a likable guy."
I don't think has there been a smear campaign on him at all.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, because she listens to this. I don't think she likes Tom Hanks.
Mom,
I think she might not.
Really? Yeah. That's character flaw.
Sorry, Mom. No. We gotta edit this out. We gotta edit this out. No.
We'll talk to her.
I could be mistaken. If I'm mistaken, that's fine. I'm sure not everybody's a fan of Tom Hanks.
I know our dad's not the biggest fan of Stallone.
Is that right?
Growing up, yeah.
And we're gonna get to some issues here.
Yeah,
in a minute. Family.
But I remember. But you got to keep in mind that maybe I'm doing like psychotherapy here because
you got to edit this out.
No, it's nothing revealing. I'm talking strictly about my dad's feeling on a celebrity. That's it. That's it.
Go on.
Nothing. Okay.
He's like, I won't do it.
We're in trouble.
Now you made it seem like it's more than it is. I don't know.
Okay, well, you tell me, then we can edit it out.
It doesn't matter.
You guys are getting grounded.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
You're both getting grounded.
No, well, I think there's some celebrities it might do for some people. They just, I don't know what is it. What's a celebrity you don't like, Ruben? What's somebody that no matter what they do, no matter how good it might be, you just have a hard time enjoying it?
Sometimes Keanu Reeves. There's ebbs and flows there.
Sure.
I don't know.
But you know why I like him now a lot more than I did 10 years ago?
Yeah, vice versa. That's why I'm saying that.
Because of how he gave his sister has I forget what disease she had. I think it might have been cancer, something to that effect. She recovered, but he gave 70% of his earnings for the Matrix movies to this facility.
Wow.
Like that type of, he's a very big. Apparently, he takes the subway. He doesn't own a mansion. He's just one of those guys who just yeah. So when I read about that, I was like, it's kind of hard to. Even though I'm not a big fan of his acting necessarily, I could leave that aside.
Sure,
he seems like a really genuinely nice guy.
Sure.
And then you find guys that are girls that aren't quite nice outside the movies, and I have a hard time liking their movies.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I know a lot of people hate on Nickelback. Okay.
Have you heard of Nickelback?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Canadian.
You're Canadian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're sorry.
My old boss went to high school with Chad Kruger and a couple of other people from Nickelback, and I'm like, what were they like? Oh, just terrible. This is before people started hating on them. This is about 10 years ago, and maybe people hated it for that long. But anyways, they did not like them. Like just creepy and all that sort of stuff. Right. And then our brother Jason was working security at a Nickelback show, where the opening band was a band that the singer was producing, and he just ripped on them. That was terrible. If you want to be like where I am, you gotta, something, like.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like maybe.
So the personality. So you now feel more justified not liking Nickelback.
Well, I've known two people that have spent time with them, and both times were negative experiences.
No, we're all. If you take a snippet of anyone's life at some point,
yeah,
sure,
Yeah, you're gonna see an ugly moment,
right? You might think that person's that way all the time, but you got two random experiences.
Yeah, but that said, I don't know. I don't hate Nickelback.
But that's funny, Nickelback, Coldplay, those kind of bands where everybody confesses to hate them, but they sure sell a lot of records.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So somebody's buying those
records. I wish people hated me. If they could hate me that much, please do.
Yeah,
I'm not hated enough. But yeah, well, people said that about Trump's victory. Well, it's victory, really. It was that everyone said no one's voting for Trump. He's not going to win because everyone hates him, but he won the Electoral College. Right. So it's like, well, somebody liked him.
Yeah, millions.
Millions. So it's the same thing. People, that's the joke I've heard. I forget who said it about Nickelback. Everybody hates him, but they sell at concerts. So somebody likes him.
Right. Yeah. So back to Stallone. A lot of people don't like Stallone. Yeah. But I think when people get to know him, I think he's
an oddly polarizing character. I found that throughout my life. I have some friends on Facebook who I'm waiting for this person to find out how big of a Stallone fan I am, because she's convinced that he's a terrible person, like Trumponian type terrible.
Oh, okay.
With females and stuff. And I think Stallone has made mistakes, as he has said, when he was in his 30s, bit of a womanizer or whatever it might have been. I don't think, but he said himself that he wishes he could change parts of his past. But
see. A bad person doesn't say that.
Right.
They're like, I'm fine. I never did that. It was locker room talk. Or,
right, exactly.
Right. I'm sure we've all said and done things that are stupid. Except for Ruben.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. So let's do some name dropping.
All right.
Let's do 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Oh, wow.
To get us to Stallone. So you starred with Jared Leto.
I was in the scene with him. In Prefontaine.
In that scene, you started with them.
That's cool.
There's a generator that 6 degrees of separation. There's an actual app. You can put the movie, and then it'll tell you how to get to Rocky on that. That's an actual app.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We should
have been better prepared.
I know.
Okay, we'll do that.
So you put Brad Upton in Prefontaine, and then it'll tell me how many degrees I'm separated from Sylvester Stallone.
Interesting.
Oh, okay, we'll do that.
How did you get that gig? Is it because you're a track and field coach?
Yeah, well, they were filming it in Seattle when I was coaching at the University of Washington. They were filming it in around the University of Washington, and I originally auditioned and got the part as his high school track coach. And then, because I was a track coach, but I went and I auditioned for it, and they liked the audition. And then they wrote that out of the final script, and the casting person said, I'm sorry, you got the part, and now the part doesn't exist, but something else will come up in the next few days where we need somebody, and I'll use you.
Okay.
So that's how it happened. And at the time, I was 40, and they wanted me to hurdle in a scene too, which I could have still done. But then they were going to have us hurdling for like 3 hours in the morning. And I went, I can't hurdle for 3 hours. I can give you 10. I can give you 8 or 10 takes. Yeah. We're not going to shoot this
or
over.
Just lower the.
Yeah.
It's some sort of tricky filming. You're going over, but it's like this high. You're like.
Yeah, they wanted to shoot a scene that looked like I said, I got a whole bunch of good hurdlers around. We can shoot that and make it look great. I said, I'm not going to be out here at 6:30 in the morning shooting. I'll get you some other hurdlers. I'm not interested in hurdling at 6:30 in the morning when I'm 40 years old and doing it for 2 hours.
Wow.
So Prefontaine, remind me who that is again, the character?
He's a distance runner from Oregon, and he was the best distance runner in America. He was 20 years old. No, he's 22 years old. He was the top distance runner in the world and got killed, flipped his car just as he was beginning to peak as a distance runner. But he was from Oregon. He went to Oregon. He was legendary in Oregon.
And Jared Leto played that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And when the car, go ahead.
Oh, and Steve Prefontaine was the first guy that was wearing Nikes.
Yeah.
Oh.
His coach made the Nikes, and they were testing them on his feet and all that stuff. So if he'd have still been alive, he'd have had about $10 jillion worth of Nike stock.
Jeez.
Yeah. What were you going to say about Jared Leto?
I was going to say that if you were stronger, you could have, because you were there for the scene where the car gets flipped.
The car flips and he's pinned underneath it.
Yeah.
And I can't move the car. It's my fault.
It is your fault.
It's my fault.
That's very meta.
Yeah.
I wanted to use that word today because I was trying to use the word meta in a previous conversation I had with somebody, and I couldn't remember the word. So I said, next time that situation comes up, I'm going to use it. There it is.
Thank you.
I actually went over when we had a real car, MG, that was on its back, but there was no engine in it.
Okay.
Well, it's a little tiny sports car. So before we shot the scene, I went over. I go, let me try and move this thing. They go, because I can move it. I mean, it's a sports car that's upside down, a little tiny 2-seat sports car with no engine in it. So I actually had to act.
Oh,
because I could have moved that car.
I didn't know your acting skills were that good.
They're that good.
Wow, good for you.
You have to rent that movie now.
You can find that clip on YouTube.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not that I'm trying to take away from your royalty checks.
I knock you down about $3 a year. I still get
Really?
paid. I get paid quarterly. And they're always, for some reason, they've gone up the last couple of years.
Right. Well,
they're up over $1 now. For a long time, they were under $1.
Mm-hmm. I've heard those royalty checks can be as low as a penny.
You'll
get it.
They'll be less than it costs to send them. I've had 34-cent checks. And you're like, why did you send this? Just let it roll over. Just to the next,
Do you cash it?
Oh, yeah. But I always show my wife. I go, look, money just rolling in, baby.
That's
just rolling in. Mailbox money. Look at that.
So this is rude to ask. How much do you get paid for that? You recall?
Originally?
Yeah.
I got $1,000, and it was shot it for one night.
Wow.
And I was there about 4 or 5. I don't know. I was there for most of the
night. Would you have done it for free?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
would I? Oh yeah, probably.
Just for the experience, something fun to do. Yeah.
I think I got $1,000, and then within a year or so, I got another $200 or something.
Okay.
And you still get these checks, and I still get them because apparently that thing gets rented or shown on TV, but they're always less than $1 or around $1.
Interesting. Huh. Not that many people I know have started a movie that gets royalty checks.
Yeah.
Starred
in one scene.
I had a scene.
Killing Jared Leto.
But yeah, me and an Oscar winner, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Wow. Just the two of us.
I think you helped inspire him to win the Oscar later in his career. Yeah, I would say so.
Because he had different hurdles that he needed to get through in life, and he looked to you.
You're such a joker. There you go.
Yes. I swear, I was about to say dead, but you don't know what dead is, and that's off topic.
It's a family joke. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got to dig deep in that.
So you don't want to do it?
We've teased it a couple times.
Do you guys want to go back to what your mom and dad don't like?
Oh yeah.
I think we need to get into that maybe. Start up.
Well, the Tom Hanks news was to me, and I guess Sylvester Stallone news was to
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong.
We love you, Mom and Dad.
We love you.
That should be the name of this podcast. I could be wrong.
Oh, actually, I'm often wrong. It's probably what it should be called. I'm often wrong.
All right, so you've seen Rocky 2.
Which tell me which. I'm sure I did.
He wins. He wins, yeah.
Oh yeah.
3.
Mr. T. 3, Mr. T.
Yeah, I saw that one.
4, obviously, we've done that.
The
Drago.
Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
5.
Is which one?
He fights on the street.
I don't know if I saw 5.
Okay, well, it's okay.
Okay. Balboa.
No.
Oh, really? It's good.
Yeah.
So the last two is on your.
I wanted to see that one you just mentioned. Creed. I wanted to see that, and I was on a flight recently where that was one of the options. I was thinking of watching.
You won't be
it,
disappointed.
Watch Balboa.
Part 6 is called
Part
Rocky.
6.
Rocky Balboa.
It's called Rocky Balboa.
Shouldn't I go back and watch the whole thing? I mean, the whole thing.
Okay,
we give you permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like if I want to watch Balboa, I should go back and refresh.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if you were to only watch 2, Rocky and Balboa.
Oh yeah, is that right?
Stallone said that you can. When he wrote Rocky Balboa, he did it like you could watch it with Rocky 1, just like Ruben said. It's like you don't need 2, 3, 4, and 5 to enjoy just those 2 together.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so it's like though he hates 5. A lot of fans hate 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the vitriol that 5 has.
No.
It's almost worth watching to see why.
Yeah.
But it just ended on a bad note. So 16 years later, he redeemed himself, and he did redeem himself by releasing and writing Part 6, which is called Rocky Balboa. So I think in his mind, too, he kind of looked at it as literally like, here's Rocky 30 years. At that time, it was 30 years later. So it's like, here's Rocky's life, and 30 years later, here's his life now. So they're a very good companion piece. Yeah.
And Creed is very good.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. When he I've said this before, but when he announced Creed, I was nervous. Because it's like, I love you, Stallone. I love Rocky, but how many times can we go to this well?
Right.
I'm starting to sound like that guy who said that at Part 4. I now say it at Part 7. I admit, Part 7. That's a lot. But if there's a story to tell, there's a story to tell.
And when it ended, is there another story after that?
They're doing 2.
They're doing a Creed 2, but whether he's in it or not, I don't know.
I see.
Well, according to what
if it made money, they'll make another one.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's it.
They're going to do some back. Apollo might be in it.
Oh yeah.
Like of CGI and other scenes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I believe that there will be. So I kind of have to wrap up a little bit. Do we not? Is there any more that you want?
Well, I just feel bad. I don't know why. I feel
bad.
like we just scratched the surface.
We're gonna name drop some more.
I'm.
Don't take away your time.
My wife said Joan Rivers fan.
She's a sweetheart.
Oh,
I did about 20 shows with her.
Oh wow.
And she was great. She was so sweet, and she liked me because I was clean. She wanted her opener to be clean because Joan's really dirty.
Oh, is she?
Really blue.
You know what's funny is that my wife has never seen her stand up. She has only seen her TV shows
or on CBS.
No,
where she's selling stuff. CBC, CBT,
the shopping network,
home shopping, whatever, where she's selling stuff. I've seen people storm out of a Joan Rivers show. Oh my God, she was so filthy. Go, it's Joan Rivers. What did you think? Did you think she was going to sell you jewelry? Mm-hmm. What the hell did you think? You're obviously not a fan.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't know how blue she is.
Yeah.
And she's a great comic. Every show, she just came out, bam, 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 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Just hammer it. Just joke. Worked really fast, and she was a great comic.
And she always
sweet lady.
She never did enough. She always thought that, like, the day, from what I've heard from other people talking about her, it was like a hardworking, never rested on her laurels, always looking to prepare for the next, right till when she passed.
Oh yeah, she worked her ass off. She was great. I had several times. There was just her and I sitting in the green room, just the two of us, and talking comedy and life. And she's a sweet lady. She'd do a shot of vodka before she went out too.
Yeah.
One shot, boom, knock that back before she'd go out.
She was tiny, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was tiny lady. I have a couple pictures of me with her. She's tiny.
Wow. Tim Allen.
I worked with Tim Allen for a week in a club right before he hit it big. We worked together in Portland, had a great time. Spent the whole week hanging out, having fun, drinking, doing everything two comics do on the road. Mm-hmm. And then I ran into him about 2 years later at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. And this was in those 2 years. He went from club comic to huge star in 2 years. So I'm at the Laugh Factory, and he comes in, and so all the comics, there's a buzz because Tim Allen's here, and I'm going, oh, this will be interesting to see how he reacts to me, because 2 years ago we were best buddies for a week on the road, you know. And so he's walking over and he's saying hi to everybody. He sees me, he goes, Brad, he gives me a big bear hug, and I'm like, okay, good, he's not a dick, you know? So he goes, let's go out in front and talk on the sidewalk so we can stand out here and get the hell away. So let's go out front with me. So we walked out in front, and we're standing there, just the two of us, Sunset Boulevard, me and Tim Allen. Cadillac pulls up. Sam Kinison gets out about 6 months before he gets killed, and Tim goes, Sammy, come here. I got somebody I want you to meet. So Kinison walks over, and then the three of us stand there for about 10, 12 minutes out on Sunset Boulevard. I'm thinking, God, I wish somebody would take a picture of this right now. It's me and Tim Allen. And
see selfies.
No,
you didn't know you, that's what I mean. So like, you wish there was at that time. You wish it. Like,
we'd have done them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right then, I would have posted it on
Facebook
immediately. Me and a couple of my buddies.
Wow, that's
so awesome. That was cool. And I haven't seen Tim Allen since, I don't think.
Or Sam.
No, or Sam.
Too soon.
Yeah.
That's okay, and then Smothers Brothers. When I was a kid, I loved watching Smothers Brothers.
Same with me. And they were the biggest stars in the world when I was a kid. I mean, literally, they had the #1 show on. And we had their albums when I was a little kid. We'd play their albums. And I worked with them I did about 20 shows with them, too.
Oh, wow.
And I went to their very last show in Las Vegas. I knew it was their last show. They were retired, but they didn't tell anyone they retired, right? They just took this last date, and then they were done. But I knew it was their last date, so I flew to Vegas and went to the show, and I went to the after party, and they both signed my ticket. And
Are they
but
still
Tommy,
around?
both of them, they're just retired. Tommy and I would go out every show. Dick's real straight. He'd go back to the room. Tommy'd always like, you want to drink some scotch? Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
So that would be surreal too, when you're sitting in the bar and trash Tommy Smothers and telling jokes and laughing their asses off.
So it's fine if you don't, but do you have any other kind of bigger names or names like that? The reason why I mentioned that is if you're in Vegas with the Smothers Brothers, I'm sure some celebrities might have been in the audience. I'm sure nobody bigger than you, but
no, of course not.
Yeah.
A lot of times at Mathis concerts, all kinds of people come backstage.
Okay.
That are, athletes and famous people and come back. I mean, Gale Sayers. Do you remember Gale Sayers, the running back for the Chicago Bears? He's in the Hall of Fame.
Ruben, you should know.
I don't. I think
you guys are young.
I think
I don't follow sports.
Do you remember the movie Brian song?
No.
That's the one where somebody dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gale Sayers is the running back, and Brian Piccolo is the other running back, and they're the best friends. So anyway, Gale Sayers was him, and then he's in the Hall of Fame. And then like one of the Isley brothers was backstage not long ago, and people like that all the time show up at
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's great. Joe Montana. The actor. He was. I just met him about a year ago.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Ruben thought the Super Bowl was kind of a nickname for the NFL championship. He thought it was. He goes.
He runs a place for where kids can come play, right?
So my wife listened to that podcast. Yeah. She's like, is that what you really thought? Yeah. I thought it was the Rose Bowl. Right. And so I thought this is like the super one.
Yeah, he thought this was the best one.
Like, well, it is.
But but you thought it was like a
college
nickname.
Football or something.
Like, yeah, he's like, he knew the top football players played for the championship.
That's
NFL
the super duper. Super duper.
So we love you, Ruben, but it is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sports and I, whatever. So yeah. Well, though I know who LeBron James is. So my wife and I were talking yesterday, and it's a
rapper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tours with Kanye.
Did I get mixed up?
No, you're right. Okay. We're doing dry humor on you, buddy.
All right. So my wife's an early childhood educator, and she's like, I just want to be like the best. I'm like, yeah, like LeBron James. And she's like, is he that? I mean, basketball player. It's like, is he black? I'm like, yeah, he's black. Anyways, but she knew who he was, but she didn't clarify. I don't know what white person she might have had in her head.
Early
Steve Nash,
the LeBron James of early childhood education.
Yeah.
It's a good title.
Yeah.
So you're going on tonight on that stage behind us.
No.
No,
This is
not
downstairs.
big venue. This is.
I don't know what's going on around here.
This is peanuts.
This is the peanut gallery. This is literally okay.
Yeah.
My apologies. This was not a slight on your abilities.
No, that's all right. It looks similar to the one downstairs.
Okay.
Just
So you're going
smaller.
on stage. You're going on stage at 9 o'clock, which is in 3 hours. What do you do before? What's your prep? How do you psych yourself up before you go on stage?
I'm learning now to put my damn phone down sooner.
Okay.
It's really been a distraction the last few years. You stay because everybody's on their damn phone. You keep looking. I feel like, you know what? Leave it in the room. Just leave it alone. I like to watch the other acts, and I just mostly go over what's my first 2 or 3 things that I'm going to. I go in the same order pretty much every night. If you saw my show 2 nights in a row, you'd see pretty much the same act in the same order anyway.
Right.
So as long as I get up there and I get the first 2 or 3 things out, then I'm fine.
No, I would be nervous watching other comedians for 2 reasons. One, if they're really, really good. And 2, do you ever think like, oh, that's a good joke. How do I spin it? You know, is there joke stealing?
There is, but it's frowned upon.
Right, yeah.
And it's not supposed to be
Cook.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are people that do it. And yes, absolutely, you can get influenced. You'll see somebody do something.
That's what I was
that's very
influence.
funny, and I can spin that in a different
That's
way.
what's funny. Like, because people will say like Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath, and you can hear their sound and their songs. Like, so what's that fine line between influence and tipping the hat to the person before you and stealing?
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
I like watching the comics mostly just to see what content they're doing, or if there's something similar. It doesn't mean they stole a joke, but if they do something that's real similar to what I do, you know, I don't want to come up there and do almost a different variation of that joke. And it couldn't be just content. You know what I mean? Maybe there's somebody up there slamming on 20 somethings.
Yeah.
And then I go up and like slam on them, and the people are like, well, that guy just did all that. We laughed at it once. We don't laugh. So I might just skip that.
Let me tell you about 30 somethings.
Right, exactly.
10 years from
10
now.
years
10 years from now. But I
Yeah.
like watching it. I would prefer to have a good comedian go up in front of me than a bad one.
Really?
Most comics, I think, if you have any confidence, you would rather have a good comic go up in front of you.
That's good. Well, that's good to know, actually.
Also, I probably won't open for you next year then.
Maybe next year, maybe. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll talk to the owner.
Yeah.
About not having.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to chew the fat with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's totally fun. I look forward to seeing you tonight, coming with a double date.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Don't tell my wife.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this will air after the date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So selfies okay after the show?
Sure,
or
absolutely.
No? Okay, then we'll do that then.
And next time I'm up here, between now and the next time, I'll try and watch Balboa.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Thoughts
go.
and feelings on it.
Yeah. Then we can do a follow-up.
Okay.
A sequel.
All right.
Oh.
Sequels are welcome in the Rocky
Yeah,
world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Clearly.
If we get more than 10 downloads, we do another episode. So
Yeah.
that's our sequel. Every episode's a sequel. This will be episode 34.
Yeah.
So
All right.
That's why I have 10 phones, just so that we can download, and
that's right.
do it again.
Yeah, we got 20 phones just to download episodes.
All right. Well, Brad Upton, check you out on bradupton.com.
Correct. My schedule's there.
I have your CD that I bought last year. I think Upton No Good.
Up to no good. I hope you
And-
listen to it because it's the same shit you'll hear tonight. So.
I haven't
There'll
listened
be
to it.
some new stuff.
Yeah. Well, the party that I'm with, they
Okay,
haven't
good.
heard it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would check. If you don't see Brad live, come and just buy a CD. Yeah.
Which I didn't bring with me.
You have nothing to sell?
No, not this week.
Go to
I
his
just left
website.
them at home because I thought normally I drive up,
Uh-huh.
but today this year this weekend I came up on the float plane
Okay.
and I thought they're gonna go through my luggage and ask me, is this commercial goods? There's kind of a
Oh,
where you bring
gray
commercial
area.
goods and I just went, I'm not. If I drive up, I just leave them in the car.
Okay.
And I bring them with me. But I thought, maybe they'll go through my bag and go, we didn't declare this.
Next time, just mail it to me.
That's right. Yeah, I can mail it. You
Yeah.
can order it off my website too.
All right. Well, until next time, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Ding ding.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Brad,
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.